What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil. And like always, man, my co-host, GameTime Bryan. What's going on, Bryan?
I'm just jamming, man. I'm jamming to your music, and I'm jamming to a 40-3 drubbing of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
I didn't see that coming.
I did not see that.
I told you I like them to win, but what we saw yesterday was crazy.
Yeah, yesterday actually was my birthday. Going in from the opposite broadcast, we're going in. I'm like, man, I hope we just get a good, showing on the birthday. The fact that there was no stress on the birthday.
Like they were playing for Phil.
Yeah, I like it. I'll take it.
I thought I heard Dak say, we got to win one for Phil.
Yeah, man. We're going to win it all for Stewie. We're going to win one for Phil.
We're going to go outside. We're going to go. Oh, that was Rudy.
Well, I'll take it, man. I'll take a Rudy victory. Easily, I'll get carried out there. But what I was, what were you disappointed? Let's get what were you disappointed with out of the way, because there's not much of that. I'm gonna go with two things. And I'm disappointed in having Maher having to kick 2 field goals because of the referees.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so see, and then I'm disappointed that CBS take my Cowboys game off the air.
Yeah.
So there's the disappointment.
I don't know that most of the country would want to see that.
Yeah.
But that was BS. Listen, all the guff that us Cowboys fans have to take from the national media because it's better ratings to rip our boys all the time. We finally have a great game where, of course the narrative, and we'll get to it, they finally have a good game, and they gonna turn that shit off. That's not right. that wasn't cool. But anyway.
Yeah, man. I know as soon as it happened to me, I was texting you right away. I was like, man, I can't believe they did it in my area. And then as I was seeing, man, it was happening everywhere, even in Dallas. Like,
are you kidding me?
No, they had it in Dallas. They blacked it out like at that point as well too. So
that's ridiculous.
So it was everywhere.
Yeah, well, of course, I happened to check in on Kyle Brandt. I left him alone on Twitter. I had a busy day at work, but I was curious at this take because he was calling for a drubbing by the Minnesota Vikings. He liked them big, and he's Mr. Negative. You don't like Dallas fans. He's tired of talking about us. Mm-hmm. We never get the job done. Always, all the Dak haters. He's one of them. He doesn't hate Dak.
But yeah, he's giving the Vikings everything,
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So his take, just real quick, was not that Dallas played good, but Minnesota Vikings disappointed. There's a reason why they're disappointing, and we'll get to it. We'll break it down.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this game, I definitely don't look at it like that. I look at it more like this was the Cowboys' game. I mean, there was no stopping them. There was no, there was no scoring on them, man. That was just a complete freaking game by the Cowboys. It was, I think you put any opponent in front of them at that point, and it would have been just a thrashing everywhere. So I mean, man, that was a butt whooping of a butt whooping. I mean, the fact that.
All right, Phil.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that, there were some records set, man. There were some things that were happening. I mean, Kirk Cousins came into the game with 39 consecutive games with a scoring touchdown of some kind, and their defense says, nope, no more of that. And as much as we come out and we're bitching about them doing their thing in Green Bay, they turn around, they come out, and they get the largest margin of victory on the road as a Cowboys franchise. I mean, that's saying something as well.
I saw a stat where they said that our defense is, as of now, is ahead of Saxonville. Remember Jacksonville Jags? They ended up going to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship game that year. Our defense has more sacks at this point than any defense in history.
Yeah,
the number 1 ranked team, the Jacksonville Jags, who they called Saxonville, and. After seeing what we saw from Parsons, he needs to play in. There's plenty of snaps. Get him some rest. He needs to play in. That's where he has the most impact. He was a beast.
Yeah.
And when he's out, Armstrong was a beast. Tank was a beast. Like I told you the other day, our D tackles were not the problem. It was our end play. Let's just play Parsons at end.
Well, I mean, when
let's acknowledge some of our
when you look at the defense, I mean, they set the tone right off the bat. This is what I like to see. I mean, when we were coin flipping and stuff, this is the reason why I like to give the other team the ball, is to let our defense set the tone, because this is what's honestly giving this team, this push, this elevation. The difference between this team and another team is definitely that surrounds our defense. But when we're talking about complementary football, that's what we were talking about going in. Set up that running game. I think they finally figured out the ratio. Whether you have Zeke start, whether you have Tony start, it don't matter who starts. The ratio is there. What who needs to touch the ball at one situation.
Don't let the national media or a couple pundits say, "Oh, well, Pollard's better." Nobody's saying Pollard's not explosive. But they're better together than he would be with just one guy. You saw what Zeke can do for you with short yardage. Dude's a beast. There's no, that's why I stick to my gun to where if he plays against Green Bay, we win. It changes the play calling. We get, we get those short yardage opportunities. We just do. I was happy, very happy. I do agree. I did write some things down. It was a perfect game. I have nothing to complain about at all. I can't complain about that. If you would have told me that they would have held the Vikings to 3, that's freaking impressive. That place was hopping at the beginning of the game. They were ready to go. Those fans, that's an intimidating place to play. And Dallas had the attitude. Now, the only thing that I'm annoyed at, and I'm curious to see what I Love Weed and Rolands and Eric and Michael Dana and what they have to say about it. Aren't you annoyed that we can't bring this out? I'm not saying you're going to win 40-3, but you need to have this this intensity going on for the rest of the season. If we do that, I'm telling you now, if we play like all 3 phases like we did yesterday, we're going to be sitting in the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, nobody's going to beat us in the NFC. If we play like that, it's all the other teams in the East. Not so much. I don't care what Philly did against an anemic Indianapolis Colts team. They won, and that's good to their credit, but they ain't playing all that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. There was a lot of things happening yesterday that was all over the place. You got Washington, obviously, playing some good football behind Heineke. You got, Philly barely squeezing out the win. New York looking pretty bad going at, they have a game coming up, obviously, against us on Thanksgiving. So, I mean, they didn't look the greatest. But when you look at what we did, obviously, my biggest thing going into this game was how were we going to look coming out of it? I mean, statistically, Kirk Cousins was going to have a bad game, or it was going to be our team. Yeah, it was going to be either that or, we were going to basically dominate the whole game coming out of a butt whooping from Green Bay. Statistically, that's what we do. So, I mean, you saw both. I from the bat. I mean, third play of the game, you see Parsons obviously with the sack fumble, but
what's up?
It has a lot to do with actually the coverage. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, why did he roll out? I mean, he didn't have anybody open. So I mean, he felt like he had to get out of there.
That's a good call by your part. That's a good call. I would say that play, and I'm watching it now. I have ESPN on. That play that Parsons made where he had the strip sack, that was made just as much by our secondary covering. And if I hear one more time that we're not going to travel Diggs, you know what Diggs did yesterday to Justin Jefferson?
What he always does to Justin Jefferson.
And he traveled the whole field. So this needs to be a theme. We need to put Diggs on the opposing team's best receiver. End of story. He had 3 receptions for 33 yards. And you know how much of a Justin Jefferson fan I am?
Hey, he's a great receiver. He's a great receiver.
In a game where they had to throw literally 5 minutes into the game because we were up on. So it wasn't like it was a run, That was impressive, man.
Yeah, trust me. I had people talking to me prior. Hey, JJ's gonna go all over you guys and stuff. I'm like, we got to try to slow him down.
Kid, but
And I said, you still need somebody to,
yeah,
you still need somebody to actually throw it to him. And so that's where my confidence lied a little bit, was that Kirk Cousins was going to get a little bit rattled. But man, I did not see the butt whooping coming. I mean, I definitely would have. There were some people that were in the chat where, somewhat close. There was a 30-something to 14 guess. I mean, there was some thoughts on there. And yeah, I mean, this team can basically blow any team out if they really, really put everything together and really focus. Again, the defense, another stat that they had is they haven't allowed a first quarter touchdown all season. I mean, that is huge. Not setting a tone.
Incredible, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was the thing.
The defense travels, man, and it's more of an emotional thing. We got to have that chip on our shoulder the whole rest of the season. We have to. That's the only way we can play. But I will say the Vikings were stupid and stubborn. It was like their head coach said, this is what we do. Mm-hmm. We're not changing nothing.
Who's that remind you of?
Where it got you, because they fell right into Dallas' game plan.
Yeah.
Not that we wouldn't have won the game, but it would have been closer if they would have stuck to the run. Ran Cooks and Madison. Short control passing game. And then take your shots with Jefferson with play action. If they would have done that, I still think we would have won, as the mailbox has the answers. But they didn't. They were stubborn, and it cost them, because
I mean, if you look at it, you look at it, they had 11.
I want Dallas coming after you and having to drop back that many times. He dropped back 40 times. You fell right in our hands. So I would say the game plan by the Vikings was dumb.
Yeah, I mean, would you really look at it? I mean, you look at the fact that Dalvin Cook on 11 carries had 72 yards. I mean, he was definitely eating some. So it's just,
Listen, our offense, speaking, dude, Dak was 22 for 25 for 276 yards. He was pulled when? Late in the third?
Man,
early fourth?
That touchdown pass that he had to Tony Pollard down the sideline, like, my God, what a beautiful pass that was.
Yeah, and just remember, he was 22 for 25, but his 3 misses were throwaways.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have an incomplete. They were basically throwaways.
No, this offense actually complemented the defense.
I don't
kept
care
him off the
what
field.
he's doing. Like, I can see what he's doing, stretching.
Keep doing it.
Keep doing it. So my man was hot. Oh, and we were talking about it. I don't know if you noticed. They actually ran Turpin on the 9 route, on a go route.
Well, they were doing motion as well too. They were doing a lot of stuff there that we talked about.
Ran him on a 9 route. The safety, they were worried about it. The safety had to go over and help, which led to the CeeDee Lamb big catch on the sideline. That's why he was wide open. Catch. What made it hard was Dak was rolling out that way. That's a tough throw, and he made it. But on that play, the deep safety had to go on Turpin's side. That's all we're asking. Do that a few times. As much as I thought Noah Brown had a good game, that one stutter move, if that was Turpin, that's a touchdown. Because he's flying by the guy. I just think, on plays like that, let's put him in the game. Please.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about offense, I mean, you look at Tony Pollard, 15 carries, 80 yards, 6 receptions for 109 yards, 2 TDs off of that.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy numbers, man. Getting him involved in the passing game, which is what exactly. Now with you getting, him being a main weapon there, obviously the other guys, can play more complementary football. I think that's what I like. When you look at the tackles within this team, obviously sacks, you're going to have your sack leaders. But when you look at the sacks, the tackles, in general, receptions, carries, it's very spread out. That means that when somebody has to leave for for whatever reason, for injuries, that somebody else can step in and actually get the 3 receptions or get the 5 tackles, because it's reasonable numbers. It's a team game. Everybody's kind of doing their thing. So I think on the offense and defense, you were seeing that throughout the game. And again, it's hard to really point out anything extremely negative. I mean, even within the flags, I mean, I didn't see many flags, and So obviously the officiating. I think I Love Weed mentions it. He's talking about my evil twin Romo trying to jinx the kick. That one was the whole thing. I mean, 60-yard field goal. And
I'm still confused what the hell happened.
Yeah.
They were going to evaluate the play. Why didn't they do it right away? I don't understand what happened there.
Yeah, what a delay.
I was confused. And then I turn around and they're making him kick it again. I'm like, what? But he kicked it better.
Yeah,
my
kicked
man
it better.
Is locked in right now. Money Maher is back.
See, Mike Aldana says this as well. Who called this game? Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy. Like, and they're saying that sideline pass.
I would say Kellen.
That sideline pass, they're saying. Yeah.
Gotta give him credit.
That sideline pass that they're saying to go to CeeDee Lamb from Prescott was one that.
Hey, Jojo.
That Aaron them hit us with, So he's saying that's, they are saying that's a Mike McCarthy play, so.
I don't know about what anybody else thinks, but if we change our play calling anymore for the rest of the year, I'm not saying don't be creative. I'm not saying don't mix it up, but if we're going to throw 40 times, then this coach's staff should be fired. You saw how we played yesterday, how it opens up the field. You have to establish the run. You have to be mean and aggressive. And that's the way it's got to be. I don't want to see a different offense.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, when I look at this offense, it looked like Cooper Rush's offense just with Dak in the quarterback seat. So now he's able to make those throws. He's able to make some of those reads. And it was very simplified for Dak as well, too. It wasn't all these crazy option reads and all, it was very simple football. It was very, very well done. Very well executed. Offensive line looked amazing. Like, the fact that you could switch some guys, get ready for a possible Tyron Smith coming back.
Beautiful.
We're getting backups. Cooper Rush got in there. They could
have asked for a better game.
Yeah.
Really good.
I mean, I would have rather watched the whole game.
It was funny. Like, I have a buddy I work with. It wasn't last game because I think we beat him last game. But he's a Viking fan, and he always texts me Skull after one of the wins. I texted him yesterday. I still haven't heard from him. It's weird. I hope he's okay.
Well, what, for 3 years straight? We've been whooping their ass in their own home.
Yeah. I mean, dude, did you see that stadium? It looked intimidating.
It can be, man. It can be very intimidating. It was everybody, doing their little thing. And and then you got Curse doing his thing with his sack.
Intimidating atmosphere. And Michael Parsons just said, be quiet.
Well, I like the fact that he was talking prior to the game and was able to back it up. I mean, and then,
Dude,
and anybody that was going
to...
Hold on. And anybody that was going to actually... Yeah, I got a little picture of him right there, but I put some Viking shit on him.
I thought he really had a head in his hand. He didn't show up with a head in his hand.
Well, I mean, that was after the game. But when you... Yeah, I was going to make a point. Now it's on I've lost it. But we were...
Yeah, you were talking about he showed up, Michael Parsons.
The fact that he was talking prior to the game and then he backed it up. I mean, that's what you need. You need that type of leader that's going to be able to do that, to set the tone, to get the other guys going. Because I mean, obviously, when you look at a Dante Fowler, when you look at him in Atlanta, he had to be that guy. He was that guy, but he couldn't be that guy because whether it's age, whether it's the scheme, whether they're being double teamed and nobody else around him can make any plays. Now he doesn't have to be that guy, and so there's no expectations other than just making plays. And coming out with a sack, you got Dorrance Armstrong recovering a fumble.
I liked Dante Fowler yesterday, man. He was explosive. They were all explosive.
They were. I mean,
it's almost like they played with a chip on their shoulder.
Even LVE was popping.
You guys are professionals. I want to see that for the rest of the year. I do. You win this game on Thursday, you get a 10-day break. Basically, it's another mini bye. Start a 3-game stretch of home games. Starts with the divisional game. Bring the same intensity. I know it's hard, but come on, guys. You can't slip too far down. I want to have a shot at the division if possible.
Yeah,
we're looking at 12 wins at the very least at this point. I told you the other day. I said if we beat Minnesota, all is well because I had a splitting in Minnesota. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm looking at what I thought. I'm right where I want to be. Did I expect the Eagles to be 9-1? I did not. But they're not playing great. So, and we'll get to that. I have a little list here I want to get to before we get out of here. I want to see everybody's, like, if the playoffs started today, how would you rate them? Like, just the NFC teams, and I'll go over my list. Yeah. Looking at some of the, the chat here. Oh wait, everybody's talking to each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at this game in general, I mean, before this game, you had third down conversions. I mean, Dallas was towards, in the 20s or so, and after that game, they shoot all the way up to like 11th or 12th. I mean, that game was really a statement game. Was really, kind of any kind of questions you had going in. I mean, all the problems aren't solved. The fact that this team has this potential before and then comes out and maybe plays flat the next following week, that's what we want to see, the consistency behind all this.
Listen, we're going to play teams that are going to not get away from the running game, okay? But that has nothing to do with what we do on offense. We have to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We have to run the ball. And they finally got to it. Tony Pollard is a matchup nightmare. I want him up against a linebacker all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Out in the passing route, I did hear them say that they ran that play a few times in practice and it worked every time.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the fact that you take that linebacker and you put him on the running back is a big mismatch. So what do you do as a defense? You put a corner on him, but now you've mismatched yourself for the running game. So it's like there's the counters. I mean, to counter it, you have to do something in order for the passing game, and if they do that, then you got the advantage in the running game. So I mean, there's a lot that comes with it. So having a weapon like that, I mean, I'm not too concerned with Pollard in the sense I think going into the season, I mean, you're right. There is a guy that he could possibly be franchised. So if they don't come to some kind of thing, so I mean, I would definitely want to keep him around. I mean, they're finally figuring it out. They're finally complimenting. I just hope again they can figure out the whole Zeke and that whole contract as well too. So very good. I mean, if you look at Malik Davis, he was even contributing. He's not terrible or anything like that. He's doing pretty good as well. So, I mean, I'm liking the backups, the tight ends as well. Tight ends are doing their job. Dalton Schultz was actually looking somewhat. He was actually keeping some blocks, man. That's how you know shit's
Schultz
going well.
A couple big time blocks.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's how you know everything is going well. Is that Schultz was up in there, perfect blocks, and I'm like, what are we watching here, man? Like,
I thought of something. You asked me anything negative. The only thing I was annoyed at, and this was before I thought it was going to be 40-3, was when Parsons got the strip sack. Our play call choice right away.
Yeah.
We only ended up with 3. To me, you have to get a touchdown, but as it turned out, it didn't matter. But you know what I mean. That was when Dalton had that one-handed almost touchdown at the beginning of the game. If I had to look at anything that was annoying, that we got a turnover all the way down in the red zone, and we got nothing but a field goal, But that would be it.
Yeah, I mean, especially. Well, I mean, you look at the defense. I mean, the 7 sacks that was great. The fact that Diggs almost had an interception on the side, I thought he was going to come down with that. But I mean, overall, the defense, everybody looked really good. Dan Quinn's game plan looked really good as well. But again, like I think you focused on it as well, is that with Vikings not changing their game plan, it just fed into whatever our coaches was doing. So I mean, we didn't have to adjust too much because everything was working. We just continued it on, and so when the backups came in, they continued it on as well. So I know by the time the game switched over, I didn't realize Cooper Rush was in there, and I had to kind of like look at it like everybody else with the stats, and I'm like, what's going on? And you hear Micah's like down, and
he sat most of the fourth.
Yeah, so I mean, I heard that Micah had gone down, and so that was kind of my concern right there too, because you're not seeing the actual play. So there was a lot of complimentary football, man, all over the field, man. And so it's hard to single one little area out when it was definitely a team win. So I feel. Go ahead.
I'm starting to see things that we've been calling for. We have to be physical with the running game. We have to continue to do that. The cold weather's going to come. The way we're going, we're going to have, probably going to have to be on the road at some point in the playoffs. But definitely down the stretch here, after we have our 3 straight home games, we need to, you could take a great defense and a running game, and that will travel. That will set up the play action. That will set up. And what did we see yesterday? We saw Dak. There was a read option run. I think he had 2 of them. Perfect. He was wide open. That's all I'm asking. Give me like 3 of those, 4 of those a game. We need that. That's how you maximize and open up the field. So I'm starting to see some of it. I don't know if it was because of the Green Bay loss. I don't know if it's a matchup thing, but Kellen, we need to stick with that.
Yeah.
So, and we'll probably be getting a new toy in another week or 2. So, be curious to see how we implement him. And he'll be nameless. Well, he'll be nameless for now, but we know who we're talking about.
Okay, I'm like putting up a poll here. I'm going to ask you as well too. Which were you more impressed with? Offense, defense, special teams, coaching? What was the one that stood out if you had to vote?
If I had to vote,
I was
more impressed with our defense.
More impressed with the defense?
Obviously the offense did what they did, but the fact that Diggs was able to hold Jefferson, down, keep them to 3 points, that's impressive. They just went to Buffalo. We're going up and down the field with Buffalo. I know it was an ugly win, but they won the game in Buffalo, which is one of the favorites to be in the Super Bowl. So I was more impressed with what our defense did. I know it's what we've seen, but we didn't see that in Green Bay. So I was impressed. Obviously, the offense looked good, but
yep. See, that's what I was saying, man. It's hard to pick one. It is. If you had to pick one over the other, it was such a great team win. But who was more impressive? Like you just. That's hard.
I called, what did I call? I called 31 points by Dallas. So, and I called a late score for the Vikings, for 27. So I wasn't far off in my scoring for the Cowboys. They scored 40, but I was way off of what they gave up, which was 3. That was crazy, and they gave up 3 literally on their first drive of the game. Think about that. I think it was the first drive, the Vikings. So, well, not the first drive, the second drive. After we got the strip sack, they got the ball back and went down and got a field goal. That was for Justin Jefferson, had most of his yards as well.
The opener.
So, I would go with the defense.
See, like if I had to pick one, like again, I'm with a lot of these guys. This is you got Mary Alvarez. I can't just choose one. They all played so well in all phases of the game.
Everybody loves our Kellen.
I don't like Kellen. I'm not, this is not voting to have him, but
coaching is Kellen.
They did both sides. I mean, the game plan seemed really good. The balance of the football. Obviously, you need players that can execute. And, one of those guys, whether it's Tony dropping. Let's say Tony drops the pass on the sides. Let's say Dak doesn't get it there. There's so many little things that can go wrong that they're right, man. It is a complete game because that pass was right on the money. Tony did not slow down. He kept going. It hit him perfectly. I mean, even that little swing pass where Dak went through his reads in that first touchdown, and he threw it to Tony as a dump off. And then Tony, with his speed, just goes down the sideline and takes it to the house for like 30 yards. Again, everybody doing his job, the offensive line. So I can understand everybody. I mean, when you look at we brought it up before, Parsons sacked, fumble. You got other guys on the defense, doing their job. You got the secondary doing a great job covering, causes Kirk Cousins to go out. Parsons does his thing, does an amazing job by just giving him like a tomahawk chop, and knocking that thing out. I mean, you look at that play. I think a lot of guys, if that would have came in a little bit later, you had the starting offensive tackle basically still in the game, allowing 2 sacks right off of him. So I mean, he didn't go out until later in the game. So a lot of people would have been, well, it's against the backup. Well, I mean, he still whooped all of them. I mean, so
Listen, man, that's what you have to do, though. But we're doing it. You know, like I mean, as of now, we're doing something on defense that's the best that it's ever been done as far as sacks are concerned. So we lead history right now. We're on a historical pace as far as how many sacks we're getting. We're ahead of Saxonville years ago. So if we can, continue to do that, run the ball, you set up play action. I'm telling you, the way we played yesterday, not many teams are going to beat us. It would be if we play that way, it would be fun to see us against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now we all know that's not how it's going to go every week, but we need to be physical. What I'm liking out of what the players are saying is, they're saying game by game. It's Dak on the offense, and I heard that Dak and Micah were having a conversation. They're basically on the same page. Mike is going to handle the defense. Dak's going to get the offense. They have to go game to game and let it all hang out. You cannot have letdowns like in this league. You cannot. So I like what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, I agree.
The early line on the Giant game.
I mean,
9-point favorite.
Yeah,
we'll
I see
that on Wednesday night when we go. But yeah, we're 9-point favorite against the Giants.
Yeah, I mean we can enjoy this for at least one more. I mean, it's a shorter week for the Cowboys, so they're probably not even. They're already past this, even though it was a really good high for them. Obviously, there's swirling. Jerry Jones is kind of stirring the pot, saying,
he's talking Super Bowl.
Well, now I'm going to go past them. And remember when we were talking about this? It's just like, what you don't like about this happening, these blowouts, is the Super Bowl talk. I don't like the media. All of a sudden now they're behind him again, and it's just like
the media ain't. That's fine.
Yeah, they just want to bring the people up.
Jerry, he's in it.
He's enjoying it.
But
I'm talking more about the OBJ, about him coming into the facility, possibly after the Thanksgiving game. So yeah, I mean, you could be seeing the OBJ Bowl.
He's going to be in the box on Thanksgiving. I don't think so, but that would be cool.
Oh no, they're saying about him being a visit afterwards, so I could see that
Friday,
being against it.
Black
But
Friday.
I mean, hey man, if you're going to get him at any point and you're going to show a display of something, I mean, that would be the time to do it, right? But
yeah. Well, to get in, you'll have 10 days to learn the playbook. You may not be ready to go, but you see Gallup is starting to awaken now.
His was more of a physical game. Like
takes a while.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like Dak. Dak's, he's out for 5 games, starting to get his rhythm.
I'm looking at what JoJo is saying. She goes, I choose coaching, especially since we played a complete game in all 3 phases. We looked amazing. Got to give it up to the coaches, and that's what I'm saying. It's just everything was executed, so it's hard not to pick the offense or the defense or even the special teams. Because I mean, come on, 60-yard field goals. Oh my God, and just hit them back to back, and I mean, that's very impressive. Turpin doing some stuff. There was a fumble there a little bit, but again, I mean, he was blowing it up as well too. So he was getting some good return yards. So it's. What did all of it kind of like chain together? Of course, the coaching. I mean, and the game plan. Of course, I mean, we keep going around in a circle, but that's how much of a game it was. I mean, it was again everywhere you could point out to. Probably even the guy that was doing the Gatorade on the sideline was probably rocking some kick-ass Gatorade. So everybody's game was on point. So it's a great thing to watch, and I don't know what you're hoping that we get this every single week, but we know it's a week-to-week league. So how are you feeling, at least momentum-wise, going into this Giants game?
I think we're at an all-time high for the season.
Is that good or bad, though?
That's good, because like what I'm hearing from Dak and them, they're tired of hearing it. I think they're on a mission. I'm not saying that they're not going to lose a game, but I would be surprised if they put a whooping on the Giants on Thursday.
Yeah.
Giants are coming in beat up, but we'll talk about more on Wednesday. But I like where we're going.
Yeah, as we're talking about the Minnesota,
I wanted to ask you and the crowd before we get out of here. I know we try and keep it a little shorter on the post game, but if you had to rate the top 6 NFC teams right now, like if the playoffs started today, I'm not going by record. Now I will couch it, but this is how I have as how the teams are playing. Now I had the Eagles first. I don't think they're playing great, but they're 2 games ahead of us. And I like what you're saying, Phil. I don't want to be the team that everybody's talking about, so we're gonna let that go with with the Eagles. So if I had to rate my top 6 teams, I'm gonna say the Eagles. You could have the limelight because I know how my teams play. You guys are in trouble come Christmas Eve. Then I would go Dallas, number 2. It has nothing to do with record, nothing. I would go Bucks, 3rd. Tampa Bay Bucks, only because they scare the hell out of me, and I think they're getting healthier, and they just keep winning. They're only 5-5, but I think they're 5. Then I have the Niners. Again, it's not so much record, because I think the Niners are only 5-5. I'm rooting against them tonight. You don't want to say the Niners, but I have the Bucks and the Niners 3-4. I have Vikings, even though their record they only have 2 losses.
2
now?
losses, yeah.
I have them 5, and I have Seattle 6. So I have Eagles, Cowboys. In my head, I'm giving the Eagles because I want them to stay up front. Go ahead, you guys are good. Just keep listening to the headlines. You got your coach yelling into the crowd again.
Oh my god, insane. Dude!
He's a freaking
1-point win against yeah.
Eagles, Cowboys, Bucks, Niners, Vikings, Seattle. I don't want to see the Bucks or the Niners. But I'm not. If we play like the way we played yesterday, I ain't no punk bitch. I ain't afraid. So bring it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do a little because I saw it on Twitter. They were talking about it. Those are my top 6. So
yeah, when we're looking at that, let me jump into that here. Michael Dennis said, sounds like. When they were talking about after the Green Bay game and this whole going into this game, it sounds like he says that everybody came together after that Green Bay game. And yeah, I heard that they called a team meeting, and hey, everybody needs to stay in their gaps. Quit getting into the hype. This defense is doing an amazing job, but we're starting to get a little loose with shit. And the fact that they tightened it up, it looked amazing. But you still got to question, the fact that Minnesota did abandon the run. That's still going to be an issue.
They played right in our hands, Phil.
Yeah.
Listen, I didn't expect 43, but they were stubborn in a bad way. You get into the Niners, and the better teams. They're not Eagles. They're going to try and run the ball and continue to run the ball. So,
she's like, who's Angelica's like, what an idiot. And I'm not sure who, But I mean, I look at these teams. I mean, I see us as a really good powerhouse. I mean, I definitely see us in the top 3. I don't know if it's a favoritism. I do feel us that we're number 1 because we do have a complete team. We do have a special teams to complement everything. But I'm not going to think that we're going. Yeah. I'm not just because of that. I think I still see all these negatives that we do have. That when we do shoot ourselves in the foot. It's a lot to overcome, but I mean, I still see this team.
Show me more than once.
Yeah, I still see this team being able to overcome those. Yeah,
impressive.
Yeah, and there's a recipe there for these wins, and it was again doing what you did with Cooper Rush, but allowing Dak Prescott to fill that role that Cooper was there. So he's he holds on to the ball a little bit longer, but the risk and reward kind of whole ratio. So it's hard not to feel. I mean, to me, the top 3 obviously are Dallas, Philly, and San Francisco. San Francisco being just that, they added Christian McCaffrey, and whether we want to believe it or not, whether he stays healthy, we can't worry about that part. It's just that he is a weapon. And, Buccaneers, I think you're right. Buccaneers are right there. They're always a threat. You got Tom Brady in there, and you can see what Tom Brady has in our past, being whooping our ass. Seattle, do you think Seattle stays there? Do you think they'll sneak in there?
I'm just saying now. I think Arizona's a dead man walking. I'm rooting for them tonight against the Niners.
But that's the thing about Arizona.
The Niners, but
I was gonna say Arizona can just turn it on.
I don't care what anybody says. I don't want to see Tom Brady. The dude is clutch.
Yeah,
I hate him, but he's clutch.
Yeah, he manages very well. So I mean, there's definitely some teams up there that. But again, if we played anywhere near 75% of the way that we played yesterday, we can whoop some teams, and it just everybody has to be on the same page. I mean, again, Anthony Brown didn't look all vulnerable.
What I saw from Dak, man. Oh, Anthony Brown looked good. I don't know about you. I saw Boss Man.
Yeah, he was
off the game with a penalty again.
Yeah,
really. Here we go.
He's got to get through those. Yeah,
he settled down. So.
Yeah, the Eagles coach. Yeah, I mean, overall, it was a great thing. Again, my
yeah, his comments after the game about Frank Reich. Frank Reich deserved to be fired. He's had 5 years. It's just the NFL. Like, you don't get to have year in and year out where if you're not getting the job done.
I mean, I heard his idiotic comment about Art Monk after the Washington game, and so I was like, okay, that's
say about Art Monk.
He would take. Oh man, I don't even remember what wide receiver he would take over Art Monk. It just enough to where I don't even remember what wide receiver that he was talking about. He was just talking about.
Not the point. Yeah. Like, this guy's he's a hothead. Whatever. And listen, man, I just my one Christmas gift, which it does make me annoyed about what happened in Green Bay is, we're still 2 games behind. I want first place to be on the line when we play the Eagles. That's what I want.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to happen. But
you never know.
Eagles have a cake schedule.
Yeah, well, I would have thought they would have been in like a 40 burger yesterday against the Colts, but that's exactly what didn't happen. So I think Brooklyn Joe whoops out some Al Pacino any given Sunday that we can win, but we can also lose the same way. I mean, any given Sunday, that's true, man. And that's the thing about this team. That's why when somebody was predicting a possible Vikings win, we were like, well, we can see it. I mean, it is possible. Do we look flat 2 weeks in a row? Not statistically, but I mean, you could see it so happening. You're like, here we go. It's one of those type of games, but it wasn't. So it was nice. Go ahead.
So we're 2 behind the Eagles now, right? So you look at next week. Yeah, we're home against the Giants. I'm calling it now. We're beating the Giants. Eagles are home against the Packers on Sunday night. They're going to win that game. Playing the Packers in Lambeau, losing on the last second by 1 point is different than hosting in the Packers right now. Yeah. So the Eagles will probably win that. Following week, we're home against the Colts. We're beating the Colts at home. Eagles are home against the Titans. Then there again, they don't get to go to Tennessee. That could be interesting, but we shall see. That could be an interesting. Like I said, we're down 2 now. Then week 14, we're home against the Texans. We're beating the Texans. So, and then the Eagles are at the Giants. We'll see where the Giants are.
Yeah,
that could be a spot where they could slip up. I don't know. Hopefully they could. We're playing the Giants good, but the receivers out for the year with an ACL. They're starting to lose people. I know they don't have a couple of their defensive guys, so we'll see. And then week 15, we're at the Jags. That could be a sneaky tough game, but if we play the way we're playing, we should win. The Eagles are at the Bears, so. To me, if the Giants could beat the Eagles and we don't lose up to that point, I think the Eagles could lose at the Bears. Mm-hmm. Really do. That's a tough place to play. So so then that sets up week 16, Eagles at Cowboys. So it's still in play. My Christmas wish is still on the table. So let's see what loyal Cowboy. It will be a bigger disappointment if the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl versus if we don't get those trolls to probably jump off a cliff. Yeah.
I mean, they got their hopes up. They've definitely got. Yeah, they're
deep down now. They're scared after what they saw yesterday. Deep down, they are worried.
Yeah,
I would beat us with Cooper Rush, let alone a juggernaut that you saw yesterday.
Yeah, the fact that all phases of the ball were doing its thing. I mean, your tight ends are getting involved. They're not just they're not just catching. They're blocking. Your running backs are catching out of the backfield. They're getting first downs. They're pounding the ball up the middle. You got your offensive line pushing, blocking. You got your quarterbacks. Actually doing well within this offense. I mean, you're not having them again. I think we're just flogging a dead horse when we talk about it, but not having him throw 40-something times in the game is big. I mean, the fact, they're talking about, halfway point, we're already 35 rushing attempts. Well, I don't care if you got to double it. There's no certain number that you got to hit and stop. It's talk about situational football. It's like, well, he hit his quota. Any other catch, any other carry after that is overtime. No, that's not how this works, man. Feed him the ball, man. I understand the whole DeMarco Murray time, but that was when we had just one running back. So now we have a complementary running backs that can go in there and kind of carry the load. So that's what I like about this offense, is that we do have people that can make plays. It's just, can we do everything consistently? I think that's going to be the theme going into this final stretch. So do you want to say anything before we bust out of here and we come back on Wednesday to talk about this nice Thanksgiving game?
I'll say, well, look, we're going to see everybody Wednesday night. I hope to see everybody. I know it's the night before Thanksgiving. It's a big party night, but we always go on the day before the game, and we're going to continue that. So I hope I see everybody here on Wednesday night. Spread the word, please. But no, I would say that it was a beautiful game yesterday. I couldn't have asked for anything more. Really shut a lot of people up. It kind of frustrates me because we see what we can be. But I think the Vikings were just dumb in how they played us, and we're not going to see that. So we're going to have to stick with the run. I'm excited about Thursday. It's about time we win a Thanksgiving Day game. It's been a few years, Phil, since we actually had a good, happy Thanksgiving at night where we actually could celebrate a win.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that. Go Cowboys. I hope everybody's ready to roll.
Yeah, man. I'm going to, right before we break away, I'm going to go ahead and read what I Love We. I Love We says, I don't want a home field, to be honest. I think we stink after the first round buys at home. I mean, statistically, that's what's happened in the past, where we've had the bye week.
The home field week.
But I would rather have the 100%. You get through the bye, and then the next week actually getting some home field games. But I get it. I totally get it. I mean, to me,
I understand.
It's all about breaking the tradition of what's been happening, breaking the tradition of Thanksgiving losing, breaking the tradition of what this defense has been doing.
We could play in a
There's so many things.
If we play the way we played yesterday, we're gonna win.
Yeah, so I mean, I like how this team looks right now. You still got something coming up in the horizon with Tyron Smith in the thing. They were switching some stuff around, but
Dude,
I mean,
I love that.
I mean, that is a big, huge weapon.
You saw him go to guard.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. Are they prepping him a little bit? Are they prepping him to go in there and get ready? So it's just, I mean, and if you do add another element to the wide receiver, and we won't say until there it is a signature. Hey man, it basically would definitely make this offense a little bit more potent. You can't say it won't. CeeDee Lamb, obviously they're all complementing each other. And whether Dak is not as excited or he has, he has to be like a little kid on Christmas, ready to unwrap that present and kind of get going on it. So again, I think you saw yesterday though, if somehow that OBJ thing does not work, I mean, look, this team has the potential to do its shit.
I'm just looking,
Obviously, you would want that extra weapon. You want that extra weapon, but don't be all disappointed if it doesn't happen. I mean, the teams that
it's happening, people. Get ready, it's happening.
But anyway, so thank you for joining us. I appreciate you coming along. We're gonna see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you for watching the replay. Wednesday at 7:00, and we'll talk about this New York Giants game and see what we have to do going forward. I mean, how about we just say for the rest of the year, we just repeat exactly what we did in the Minnesota game, and we'll just, go from there. It's kind of like the Billy Madison where he's like, you know what? If I just hit a hole in one, it's so much easier. I'll just shoot for that. So I appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate everybody joining us, and make sure you hit the like button.
Madison, or
Happy Gilmore. That was Happy Gilmore. That was Happy Gilmore.
Come on,
now. My bad.
Go to your home. Anyway, go ahead, ring that bell.
But make sure you always ring that bell, man. Thanks for that, man.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
what you do. You're like a little screw loose type of guy, and I thought that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here,
Cool name. Superpowers?
broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you gonna tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.